Yo, people, it's been a while. It's me again, it's T again, and I'm back. Just gonna give you a couple of videos before you see me again in the future because I'm currently doing just a little like rebuild of my channel. I'm just not rebuild but refresh. But I thought I'd just give you a little bit of content just to quickly speak about. So what I'm gonna speak about, I was gonna do two videos, but I think I might just do one and just speak about just everything that's been going on recently with Spurs and my thoughts on just things that's been happening around the club. So this is just more pertaining Daniel Levy and some of his quotes and more the rumors of him potentially selling a stake and all of that stuff. Yeah. So if you don't know, or you've been living under a fucking rock, you'll know that within the last week or so, Daniel Levy has done a couple of interviews. One was like a fan forum. The other one was I don't know who it was with, but he done an interview with somebody, and he said that basically he isn't interested in selling, but he's looking to um well sorry let me word it correctly. He said he isn't interested in selling, but he would consider but it's his duty to consider any offers regarding the club, and it's his duty to consider any offer that's been brought to the table for Tottenham, as it's in the club's best interest and all of that kind of stuff. And he said that if the right offer was available, he'd consider selling like stakes or a stake of the club. Um, so in regards to that, what I would say is it makes a lot of sense. I've known for a while now that there's been investors that's interested. Whether it actually happens this time, that's that remains to be seen. But from what I know, there's a high chance that Spurs will get new investors. No, it won't be Middle East, or let me not say it won't be, but the people that are currently being linked, they're not from the Middle East. They're not Qataris. They're not Arabs or anybody like that. It's an American company. Um, I won't say too much more because it's not my information to just be talking around. But the person that told me, they've been very reliable. They've been breaking news to me about this stuff now, probably the last 4, 5, 6 months. And all the information they've been able to drop, it's been stuff that the bigger more mainstream media has picked up on at a later stage, and they've actually confirmed a lot of what he said. Um, so my actual opinion on it is, do I believe it? Yeah, I do. Do I think it happens? I think it's inevitable. Do I think it happens this year? No. Do I think it happens really, really soon? No. I think it will take a couple of years. Truth be told, I think the Joe Lewis case. I think that's going to be a factor. I also think Daniel Levy will try and keep the dynamics the same. He'll try and keep the dynamics what it is now because you know for him it serves him best. It makes a lot of money. Um, do I think he should sell? Yeah, everybody knows that. I'm a you know I was about to say I'm a big Levy fan. I'm not, but I'm somebody who I can't really stand Levy. Um, and that's just because people can make all the arguments they want, but what I don't like about Daniel Levy is football. The football club is always second, or it's always like a side priority. Now, if you actually know how the club is run, because not a lot of fans do, like how the actual setup and organisation of the club is, you'd know that ultimately football is just a secondary like cause for him. And ultimately, I feel like that caps what Spurs can do on the pitch. And I just feel like Daniel Levy doesn't really care enough. Now, people will say, yeah, but he spent money, and yeah, cool, but it's not necessarily about the spending, you know. it's more. Do you know what I mean? There's so much more to it than just the actual money being spent. You know, if you actually look at the structure of the ownership, you'll see that Tottenham don't actually spend a lot of the money they make because the football club is like a subsidiary. You know, so it's like a separate entity, or it's like a separate entity in its own right. But Tottenham have a lot of different like businesses that all fit under one main branch, and the football side is just one element of it. Um, I don't want to kind of waffle too much, but yeah. So a lot of the money that Tottenham actually make, or let me not say a lot of the money, but there's big chunks of money that Tottenham will make and big profits that Tottenham will make that won't necessarily go into the club, or won't go into the football. Daniel Levy will only invest what the actual football side of the club will make. And people say, yeah, that's fair and what's not, but then, that's potentially hundreds of millions of pounds, which Tottenham as a business is making, which the football team won't see, which is potentially hampering the club. But let me not get too much into the money side of things, because I feel like it's not really for me to educate the fans on that kind of stuff. The information's there. Just type up THST official, so the Support Trust official website. Go in the ownership and corporate structure of Tottenham, and you'll see everything there, like just how the club's run, where the money goes, how it's distributed, all of those kind of things. But back to what I was saying, I would love for Daniel Levy to sell the club. I just think we just need fresh ideas. Ultimately, I'm talking from a fan point of view. Um, we need fresh ideas, man. And I just think Daniel Levy's getting to a point where, not even just getting to a point, he's got to a point where he can't move the club um, further forward, in my opinion. I feel like we'll just be stuck in the kind of cycle we're in now, where we'll have all these progressive managers, we'll have sparks, we'll have good potential, we'll have players with good potential who go on to do great things. But I don't ever see us hitting the Manchester City level, or even what Liverpool was doing, Pete Klopp. I don't see us really hitting that title kind of level. And if we do, it's going to take a Leicester City type season for it to happen. Now, to me, Tottenham shouldn't be in that situation. And if you actually look at Tottenham and the resources and everything they have, Tottenham should be a team that should be able to compete and challenge and win trophies, I would say, quite regularly. Now that doesn't mean we have to win every game, or if we don't win the league, it's a disgrace. No, because fans get all of that stuff mixed up, and nobody's entitled. But Tottenham Hotspur don't really have any excuse to not be winning trophies, and we have no excuse to be putting out the kind of product that we've been putting out on the pitch for the last however many years. And people say, oh yeah, but we got to finals and we was close on the potch. It's not about close. That lauding, I feel like that lauding of failure that that reeks in the club is something which, in my opinion, again, it's another reason why I want Levy to kind of go. I feel like there's just been an acceptance of just losing. There's been an acceptance of being inferior in football, and there shouldn't be, in my opinion. And Tottenham don't really have a reason to be like that. Tottenham have a lovely stadium. We charge premium prices. We've had premium elite level players. We've had premium and elite coaches. We've got the right kind of connections and information to get elite level directors of football and all of these things. We have an academy there, which if we develop more, we could get to an elite level. There isn't really an excuse. And sorry, we're also a very good commercial entity at the moment. So there's no real excuse. And people can talk about the stadium, and he's got to pay off the stadium, and when he's done all of that, he's going to invest in the club. I don't agree. And if you look at the business structure, you'll see that that's not within his plans. If you actually look at Tottenham's finances and just the breakdown, you'll see that ultimately what he's doing is this. And this is what my second video is going to be about. It's why I don't go to games, and I'll touch on it now. ultimately it's a case of this. Tottenham Hotspur is borrowing a lot of money, and basically they're just using the stadium to basically take the debts and clear the debt. So Daniel Levy's using Tottenham Hotspur Stadium to get loans for investments and to, for investments in properties, and then he's using the stadium to pay it off. So the NFL money, the concert money, all of these things, the club won't see because Tottenham aren't run like that. Tottenham have a lot of different subsidiaries, which is just a lot of different like business entities in itself designed to make money. The football club is just one entity under a bigger chain. So when it comes to the stadium, we won't really see that money. Um, and touching on the links, this is why Daniel Levy is probably looking at trying to find an investor because he needs to find a way to bring more money into the club. Um, he needs to find a way to bring money into the club because ultimately Champions League isn't a guarantee anymore. And I think Daniel Levy realizes that. Um, he isn't gonna use his own money. He isn't gonna take away from his properties and his investment to fund the project to fund the project that he's got, which is when I say project, I mean the football club. Joe Lewis isn't gonna do all of that, so he has to find somewhere to make the money, and the only way he can really do that is to improve the commercial side of things, which you can't really do without having specific like investors and specific like sporting organizations and just specific people attached to the club. Um, Now I'm kind of waffling a lot because I'm pausing, but yeah, ultimately Daniel Levy is going to need to get somebody um in place. He's going to need to do that, or he's going to need to just sell the club. Which, again, you've heard him talk about. He will sell 25% of his stake at £4 billion and blah 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 blah. Daniel Levy doesn't really have any interest selling Spurs. And again, if you look at the business structure of Tottenham, you'll see why. He's making a lot of money. He's got a lot of shares in a lot of different companies attached to Spurs. It's making him a bucket load of money, and he's able to just do it for free. He's able to use the fans to go to the stadium and make his money. So ultimately, the stadium is just one big cash cow project. Just designed to make him money, designed to just encourage him to get loans, and the stadium and the fans are basically paying off the loans. The football team won't really benefit, not without having some kind of investor. I see a lot of people talking about the club being run the right way and all of that stuff. There is no right way. If Daniel Levy could get Qatari money, he would. That's why he was linked with QSI. That wasn't fake. It was legitimate. He wanted the money. There is no what I'm trying to say to fans is all of that right way stuff, and I don't want to be sports washed and all that stuff that you're peddling out. It's not realistic. It's not. Money talks. That's where football's going. Now, the reason Tottenham don't have those people in charge is because, again, this is from what I understand. This is just from what I understand and just using like just basic common sense and just researching things. But from what I understand, Daniel Levy doesn't want to sell the club. He doesn't want to leave, and he doesn't want to. And if he does sell the club, sorry, I should say, he doesn't want to relinquish his position, meaning that any new owners that comes in has to keep him as chairman. Now, no owner is going to buy a club and just say, okay, yeah, you know what, we're just gonna keep somebody who we don't necessarily want there. Why would they do that? It doesn't make sense. And so ultimately, Daniel Levy is now having to find um, a bunch of minority owners. Now, it doesn't help that Joe Lewis is actually looking at like a wholesale. So there's a conflict of interest there. And as you see, Spurs have had no investors, and they've had talks, and all these talks haven't really materialized. Um, but yeah, now in terms of like going to the stadium and all of that kind of stuff, it's not for me. It's one big cash cow. It's you're pumping money into ultimately a business which doesn't really benefit you. Fans think it's benefiting the club. It's not, because the stadium is a different like business entity to the football club itself. Complete different entity. A lot of the money that Tottenham make from the stadium, a lot of that money probably won't touch the football team. So it doesn't matter. The NFL money, the concert money, all of these things, it's not really going to touch. It's not going to touch the football team. So let me quickly. So I'm on the supporters trust page now. Let me look at the structure quickly. I'm going to go to the breakdown section. Sorry, give me a second. It says here, Tottenham Hotspur Football and Athletic Co Limited. This is the finances side of it. So this is what the money. So this is what generates the money from the football club. Men's team. This is what it covers: men's team, player operations, TV money, competition prize money, sponsorships. Nothing to do with the stadium. The stadium's a different entity. So when you're going to the ground and you're thinking, yes, I'm getting behind the team, you're just funding a separate business for Daniel Levy. You're just giving him the ammo to basically go and get more loans and put the club in more debt. Tottenham Hotspur's borrowed, I think, somewhere close to like £1 billion in revenue. So Daniel Levy's using the stadium, like I said, to get more loans for properties. And then what's happening now is Tottenham just acquiring all of this debt, and the stadium is now being the thing that's being used to pay it off. So a lot of the money that's being made from the stadium is going to go towards those debts, or it's just going to be okay. Daniel Levy's going to use it to clear debts, and then it's just going to be Daniel Levy then trying to get more loans on top of that. Is that something I want to finance? Not really. How does that benefit the team? It doesn't. It doesn't benefit the team it doesn't benefit the team, it doesn't benefit the club. Us being, 700, 800, 900 million, £1 billion in debt doesn't benefit the club at all. So why am I going to go and watch them play? To be entertained? I could go and watch my local team and be entertained. Or a more local team to Tottenham and be entertained. Doesn't make sense. It's just a money operation. Now, I'm not telling fans to not go, but I'm just saying, for me, it's not worth it. And if you actually look at how the club's run and where the money goes, you understand that a lot of the money that comes from the stadium, and again, I'm not saying Tottenham doesn't see a penny. No, the club won't see a penny from the stadium. That's not what I'm saying. But there's a high chance that the concerts and the NFL money and the boxing, all that stuff, there's a high chance that all of those things, there's a high chance that all of them, the revenue that comes from those things, don't touch the football club. That's what I'm saying to you. There's a very high chance. Or if there is, it's a very, very, very small amount. There's no benefit. Zero benefit. And Daniel Levy's created that environment where it's okay to do that. To me, it feels like he's just using the stadium he's using the stadium to just build his businesses up and then just take it out on the fans without really giving the fans the actual product that they want on the pitch. And if that's the case, that's not somebody I want at the club. You're never going to hear me scream, leave it out. I don't do all of that. And the simple reason being is I'm bored of it, man. A lot of fans that are screaming for Daniel Levy to stay, they're quite ignorant and they don't actually know They don't actually know why they keep him. They don't actually understand what he's doing. And a lot of the is it purple and gold? A lot of the purple and gold Levy outs, I don't stand with as well, because they just scream and shout something, and they're just reactionary, and they also don't really understand what it takes to be an elite level club. So I don't follow all of them. A lot of those guys are performative. A lot of those guys are guys who feel like because they go to the stadium, they're allowed to look down on you. That's a lot of the fan base. It's all about being the best fan and personal experience. No, football's not about all of that. And Daniel Levy, in my opinion, has created that kind of culture. And he's created a fan base and just fans who's comfortable to be like that. That's why I don't go to games. Well, that's one of the reasons I don't go to games. I don't want to be in that culture. I want to be in a culture where it's people who love football. I want to be able to go and watch a team where I just feel football in the veins. It doesn't feel like that with Spurs. It just feels too corporate. Just a bunch of people who's just happy to to go to a stadium. I don't like all of that. It's watered football down. It's made football rubbish for me. The competitive edge in football, in my opinion, has gone because of people like Levy, people like Kroenke, the Glazers, even Brighton's owners. Just those kind of people, in my opinion, are ruining football. People will say sports washing is ruining football, and to an extent it is, but it's also making it more competitive as well. Those that want to win are doing everything they can to win, and that's kind of what I want to see, because that's what football's about, in my opinion. Um, Now, do I think Daniel Levy will sell? Taking a lot of pauses. I'm taking my time. Not now. I don't think that again. Like I said, I don't think Daniel Levy will sell now. I want him to. I'm not really fast who the new owners are, because people throw that argument out there as well. Oh, there's nobody available. There is people available, and why do you want sports washing or blah blah blah? I don't. I just want somebody who's gonna make competent football decisions. Somebody who's going to make football be the main focus, or just a bigger and more important focus than what Daniel Levy's making it about. Daniel Levy is using football as a means to make money. I don't want football to be just a means for him to make money. I want him to want to win as well. There needs to be that wanting to be the best element of it as well. The competitive edge, which I don't think Daniel Levy really, really has. You know, um, like I said, I think he will eventually have to get an investor in place, because I think he's now realizing that if he doesn't get an investor in place, he's just banking. He's banking on basically using the Pochettino model for it to work, and I don't think that's going to work this time. I think Newcastle, I think Chelsea, I think United, I think they will get it right, and I think if and when they get it right, Daniel Levy's going to have to find a way to keep up with them. And with his current model, he's not designed to keep up with them. This is why he keeps saying, "I can't compete, I can't compete, I can't compete." But it's because of the business model that he's working off of. Now, if he gets investors in, he might be able to. Will do I think he'll get Qataris? I can see maybe QSI. Truth be told, I don't see any others, and that's only because QSI I think will be more willing to just spend money in the Premier League. It wouldn't surprise me if Daniel Levy sells to the sells a stake to the American company, and if he sells another stake to QSI, and then ultimately that somewhat buys Joe Lewis out of Enoch, and it takes away significant control from Joe Lewis or his family. Sorry, because it's his family who owns it now. I can see Daniel Levy doing that. Um, and then just using the same sports washing, the same Middle East money to keep afloat. And what's going to be funny is I can see him doing that, and I can see fans saying, "Well, it's the only way. It's the only way we can compete." After spending years of saying they don't want Spurs to be a sports wash club and blah 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 blah. At the end of the day, fans don't know what they want. No, these fans are just listening to what Daniel Levy's saying, and they're just lapping up what he's saying without researching anything and looking into anything the club is doing. When you research and look into these things, you'll understand that his interest isn't Spurs. It's not you guys. His interest is to make as much money from the club as possible. And when he finishes building his properties and he can somehow find a way to clear all the debt that he's managed to put onto the club, he's gonna eventually sell, and whatever his assets are worth, he's gonna sell and go, and Tottenham ain't gonna see a single penny. But when he does that, I don't know. There's no time frame. I don't see that being anytime soon, to be honest with you. But I do think Spurs will, within the next 2-3 years, get some form of investor in the club, and I think fans should push for that more. You don't need to be abusive to do all of that stuff. Just be smart. Just be smart in the approach. If fans really want Daniel Levy out, I'm not telling people how to support the club. I'm not telling people what to do. But if you want to be smart, um, probably a smart way would be targeting as many stadium and corporate events as possible. Um, Maybe trying to target some of the properties that he owns. That would be a smart way. But you know, again, it's up to you guys. But yeah, that's just been kind of my thoughts on just just the recent information about Tottenham and investors and selling and all of that kind of stuff, and just my thoughts and what I think will happen, and what I think will happen, and what I think should happen. So yeah, might do a video on Sunday. I haven't decided yet. If Spurs beat Arsenal, then yeah, I'll do a quick video. If not, then you'll just see me chatting shit on Twitter or Facebook. Peace, love, and I'm out.